listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
I can all write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I'm your host, Justin Outlaw Harvey, and you can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMshow75. And we got two of the OGs with us today. We got what that guy? What's your name?
At Byron Fever. Byron.
At Byron Fever. Suck.
Yeah. Look me up on all the socials. I'm not doing much, but say hi.
Okay, but you said your handle this time at Byron Fever because Jimmy
was
I'm getting better
me
last week because I didn't get in socials. I cut the show short, and we went long. Somehow I cut it short and we went long.
We've only been doing this for about 196 episodes. Well, we've done 195. We're doing the 196
over the course of how many? Do you know how many years it's been, Byron?
It's hard. It can't be that many because I'm only 27. So
it's been 9 years. Oh snap! Look who's on the road and still popped in. Yeah. Everybody say hi to Tony Allen. Hi, Tony.
Hi, everybody. Jim, Byron, how's everybody doing? Was it a hat day and Justin forgot? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, that seems really out of place.
We all told Justin we weren't going to wear hats, and then we did.
I have hats. I mean, I could put a hat on.
Yes, everybody's wearing a hat, so you should be wearing a hat right now. Now, I just wanted to drop. I guess, are you guys doing the intro right now? And I just popped in.
Yeah, perfect time.
Yeah, just in time for your intro.
I don't like that.
Oh, Justin, I finally took one of those stickers off one of my Lucha Underground masks, and guess what? That was a mistake.
Oh, it messed it all up, didn't it?
It just messed up the mask.
It just has the spot where the sticker was.
Let's introduce the JimmyV while he's not on the screen.
Yeah,
he's right
there. He's rolling back in like a Muppet. I love it.
Yeah. At the JimmyV on all socials. Nice and easy. What's up, everyone?
At the JimmyV, are your teams doing good this week? One of mine is doing okay.
Well, Eagles are currently undefeated along with the Bills, and Phillies are sitting pretty, just waiting for our opponents on Saturday. So, yeah, pretty good so far. I'm not paying attention to the Flyers because it's not the playoffs. So,
you got Trevor Segers. You guys are going to do well. He's going to play really well with Mitchkov.
We'll see.
That was a lot of. I mean, I know I look like this, but that was a lot of white talk that I do not understand.
That was very, very hockey. They're talking hockey. Eh?
Well, I did live in Vancouver, so I know the Canucks, which they
Vancouver,
and then they burn cities when they don't. So I was there. I was at the burning of Vancouver.
Oh, you were riding after the game?
I was not riding. I was trying to get my ass home because I live right by where the riot started.
That was so funny. That was the first time I saw people rioting and looting after a sporting event, like on the news in the background, grabbing like clothes and stuff from a store, and then you see them look at their phone, and then you look at the camera, and then they realize, oh, no, like someone just texted them, "You're on TV stealing." Like,
Rebecca, which team of yours sucks the most? Tell us who your worst team is.
Except for you of Miami.
Goatse is correct. It's party time. And I'm going to come in hot. We're going to do hot takes first this week because...
Okay. Before you start, I'm sorry.
Oh, Jesus.
I did not watch... I had really bad connection. So I watched like 50% of the show.
Tony is on the road. He's not at home with his super Wi-Fi. He's in the Airbnb.
Yeah. I'm
still coming in hot. I'm going to talk about the reappearance of Andrade El Idolo in
that I can talk about. Yeah.
But here's why I'm hot about it. Don Callis, really smart, evil genius manager, right? right? So he's got 2 guys joining the Don Callis family officially today. Well, Clone was already part of the Don Callis family, right?
Was
they
he
officially announced that yet?
I think so.
I don't know.
That,
they announced it tonight, but I mean that whole thing was botched thanks to the camera work. But I'm not even getting into that. Here's what ticks me off. Can we make it make sense? Like, okay, it was a great debut. It was during a Kenny segment. I mean, even Kenny being there was great for business, whatever. But like, why let Kenny get the win? Like, if we're talking logic here, we're talking even wrestling logic, wouldn't you have your surprise guy, your equalizer, your table turner guy come out and do something so your team could win the match? Why the fuck are you going to wait another 10 minutes to bring your guy in after all the carnage has happened, all your dudes have gotten beaten down, and then the hero is making a big speech on the microphone, then your guy shows up? That's not Don Callis thinking. That's ridiculous. Don Callis is an evil genius, and he would send the guy in with an ice pick to win the match for his team and ruin that guy to soil his pants. Right? Am I crazy, Byron? Tell me I'm crazy.
I think you're looking at it from one perspective of reality, but from the perspective of it is a 6th-year anniversary episode of the show. They wanted that feel-good moment with Kenny, and the opening match is Kenny and the fans, and the opening match is the second main event. So they were not going to close the show with Kenny winning and then delivering that speech off air. They opened with it. So I think it served that purpose. And then
why do
they
the
did
Andrade thing there?
Well, because they were also debuting, revealing, and inducting another luchador into the Don Callis family. So why would they only do one story
Byron, you're
beat
talking,
once?
but all I'm hearing is
No. I'm saying
Tony all in your throat. That's all I hear. It's not you, Tony. Tony Khan.
Thank you.
No.
You just love this guy.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying that they have to do
hogwash.
They always do the same story, multiple segments in the same show, and that's what they did.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Jimmy, please tell me something about this. Tell me I'm crazy. Tell me I'm not crazy.
I mean, you're not crazy, but we also
right?
don't. Logic doesn't really apply as well in wrestling as it does in real life. So, yeah, it doesn't really make sense, but I understand it from the point of view of you think that Don is saving it for if his team wins, then he gets that comeuppance at the end. But yeah, it didn't really make sense, but in the grand scheme of segments on the show, it made sense.
Okay. Tony, you're just happy to see Andrade have a job.
Yes, I'm just happy he's employed somewhere. But however,
I figured this would probably be your hot take tonight too, with something about Andrade.
Yeah, well, whatever. I'll get in trouble anyways. I think this is just like, fuck you, WWE, right? This is this is just it. It doesn't even have to make sense. It's just a show that is gonna get fairly more up. I don't know if it's gonna do like really well. I'll talk about that later, but it's gonna do like a lot more because it's hype because it's the 6th. So it's just fuck you guys. We got this guy after you guys let him go. We don't know how. Now we don't know what happened. Maybe he just looked for it. I don't know. You guys don't know, right? He was evidently he was not happy. You can see his facial expressions from the last time that we talked about this. He was not happy about having to work with AAA. He's gonna be more than happy to come here and do Mexico City's Grand Slam 2, and
and it's wrestling too. Like maybe they get more out of him this time. Maybe Sammy Guevara doesn't get in his face. Maybe he doesn't leave Tony high and dry this time. Like maybe it works out. I don't know.
Did anything happen between those two guys? Anyways,
notice Sammy had a pre-tape. He didn't have a live interview.
Correct.
Yeah, there's the thing
and I think you're going to notice a whole lot of Sammy on Collision and not on Dynamite while Andrade's around. I think Andrade's still a bigger name.
What I think is now they are going to like push him to the moon. I don't know if the Don Callis family it's going to be the way to get him there. However,
brother, I think it's fine for him. Who you got to feel for is Lance Archer standing all the way in the back. Oh my God, I love that dude. But man, this is like when I first got in the Don Callis family, I was like, Lance is going to get some action. He is just the random 2% heater.
He's Cage's tag partner.
And what happens when your tag partner isn't there?
He's off for 8 months because he hurt his knee.
Look, Dak Prescott still got me some fantasy points, so we're not too mad at the Cowboys.
Who can be mad at the Cowboys? They're America's team. Anyways, so yeah, I think that's my take on that. I'm very happy that he's employed. I am very happy that he's at WWE. He's not at WWE. He's at AEW. I think that he feels better at that place. Like evidently, he just wanted to work some things out over there. They did not. Came back. So it's just like, let's put it this way, right? Cody mentioned something earlier in an interview that we were watching that he felt like he had to come home. Maybe this is the other way around. And people should not be criticizing him for, changing companies.
I give mad props to any performer that can stay as consistently employed as him and have as much crap going on backstage as him. Because a lot of other guys have gotten frozen out. They've lost TV time, this, that, and the other thing. He has stayed on TV. Even right before he left AEW the first time, he was in a program with Miro's wife right up until the end. And then he was like, okay, Tony, I'm not going to stay. Yeah, I'm not going to stay after all. I think I'm going to go to the other place. And they're like, okay, man, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. He goes over there. Somehow Tony Khan's not terribly mad at him, I don't think, and like he wasn't happy about it, but I think Andrade at the end at least kind of played fair and didn't screw him over too much, but he did leave. He fucking left and went to be with his old lady who then left him or left her. I don't even know. I don't care. But it seemed like it wasn't a great situation for that poor guy over there.
He definitely was not at the end.
Well, look at how he was used when he came back at the Rumble. He walked out with
always
the
have
mask.
the best of 7 with Carmelo. We'll always have a best of 7.
Yeah, well, that was.
And you know how I feel about best of 7s because they did really good stuff for Phoenix and the Lucha Brothers there with the best of 7.
Well, that was the main event, wasn't it? On
Career
main
high
event
points, whatever.
It's all with AEW.
Also,
Andrade in AEW.
Hi, Paula.
Hi, Paula. He was delivered every segment, every match. He still came through and did the type of TV that Tony wants on his wrestling program, and I think that is the ultimate thing that brought him back.
Yes,
and he opens the door for this to happen now. Now you can come back. He's not only going back to WWE. So now Tony, not me, the other one, can say you can come home. You know.
Yeah, we all know Cody's
Ricky
coming
Starks.
back for the Ricky Starks. Oh my God.
I don't think Ricky Starks.
My theory
Ricky Starks needs to just focus on staying where he's actually at. See how long that can last.
Can I do my hot take since
I was just going to tee you
up?
Go do it. Do it.
My hot take is that Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints. I watched this match with Obafemi. I don't watch NXT, so it's my first real big introduction to Obafemi. He's really good. And if you watch the match, he's the one who kind of carried it and got all the reactions for the stuff he did. If you're going to do a move and almost hurt yourself or someone else, you want it to matter. Ricky seemed rushed and forced all the way through. He seems rushed and forced in all of his NXT stuff and in like a third of his AEW stuff. There is a magic there in him. But he needs to find it because he doesn't have it, and he needs to figure out how to deliver it on a consistent basis. He got the NXT title. I've been a fan of his since NWA Power. I think he's great. I think he can be a unique presentation of talent on the show. I think it's funny he called himself Stroke Daddy, and like Cody had to like pretend it was a golfing reference early in this AEW career. But through all that he's been through, this is when he has to deliver. Or like Justin was inferring earlier, what does he have after that? Where's he going to?
That's a hot ass take, Byron. So let me ask you this first of all. You actually did your homework, Byron. I'm very proud of you. This is like a first, maybe a second. I'll be generous and say this is a second.
I went in under time
on 196 episodes.
Be proud of that too.
Time, and you did your homework. All right. So first of all, Obafemi, your first time seeing the guy for real and watching him, do you think that he's ready for the main roster? Do you feel like he's ready to be moving up? Even though you're just not seeing him for the first time, but do you think he'll fit in on the main roster?
Yeah, I think he's a good less is more performer. Like, he doesn't need to do a bunch of stuff. He did like 3 consecutive backbreakers and it was over. And we've seen that too. Like Steve Williams has done that. It's just, he does these moves that the way he worked the match, he would do things where you would pay attention to it, and he would do it in a way where you would pay attention and register and respond. What else do you want on the main roster out of a talent in the ring?
Yes, I don't know, Paula, we're back. We snuck back. Sorry, I should have sent you a DM. My bad. That's me. That's my fault.
I don't know his promos, but I'm sure they're fine or good or great if he got the ball to carry in NXT. But he's a big jacked dude, and he seems to know how to work. So I don't see why he wouldn't be good on the main show.
Okay, that's solid. I'll buy all of that. I'm gonna send Ricky a text right now and tell him that you have some issues for him that you'd like to discuss.
I love Ricky. I love his pose.
Wow.
He just doesn't. He's not putting it together.
Look, if he's not putting it together, he's not putting it together. You are entitled to your fan opinion, Byron. Every fan is
inconsistent. When he tried to shoot with Adam Copeland in the ring, instead of just working, he got all flustered and upset and cried about it. And it's like, just be clever, be more clever than the other person, and take it as an entertainment segment and not personally. Anyways,
Jimmy,
look who he has to learn from now, though, where he's at. Big difference.
I'm going to agree with that. I think there is definitely and I'm not going to ever say that there's not people to learn from at AEW. That is absolutely not the case. They are there. Sit down, get under the learning tree with Jerry Lynn someday. I mean, freaking Dane Malenko is still over there. Like, you want to talk about a guy who knows a thing or two about a thing or two, sit down with some Dane Malenko. But at the same time, it's not part of the culture or the system necessarily. The whole point of AEW was to not do what WWE is doing. Some of those things have worked great, in my opinion. Some of them haven't. And I don't fault AEW for being different, but I do wish that they wouldn't be so reluctant to adopt some of the things from WWE that do work.
Well, they're different for the sake of being different in those categories.
Yeah, and some of them are. But, look, realistically, the guys who came in and started that thing, they could book themselves. They could come up with all the stuff themselves because it was Kenny and Cody and the Bucks and Jericho. Of course they could. But you start bringing in a bunch of younger talent and newer kids and this, that, and the other thing. No, not everybody can do all that stuff for themselves. Some of those people need to sit under the learning tree. Some of those people need to do a little bit more. So anyway, yeah, well, that guy. All right, Jimmy, do you have a hot take on anything you want to hit before we move on?
Mine's going to be a quick one. And I feel like some people out there probably share this opinion, but my hot take, I loathe Booker T's commentary on NXT. And even more recently, SmackDown. I get why some people are probably entertained by him. Like,
quack, quack.
Yeah, so many of us remember Black Snow on TNA.
That was amazing.
That was great then. But when you hear it week after week, it is just awful because I've broken it down now. So 50% of his commentary is actually getting himself over. 25% is 25% is getting in his catchphrases.
Oh yes.
And the other 25% is maybe putting over the talent. Actually,
She's got a real future. She's been in my reality of wrestling promotion for 5 years now.
I'm going to change it. That last 50%, I'm going to say 30% is contradicting himself. And then
that's always funny.
Yeah, the rest is putting over the talent and getting in his catchphrases while doing so.
I thought it very interesting watching a Staff Occur match recently, and during her Devil's Kiss move, the where she does the thing, the crowd was chanting Booker T during it. And it's like, what? Booker T is getting himself over on her in her match to where he gets
himself over on Trick Williams' entrance every single time.
Yeah.
And it just bugs me because it's like your job is to mainly put over the talent. If he's supposed to be the heel commentator, then why contradict yourself by saying heel things and then saying face things like soon after?
This is the biggest problem, is that I don't think he knows if he's a heel commentator or not. I don't think
pick a lane. Like if he was a heel commentator and stuck with it, fine. But like
I used to have that issue with Graves sometimes too. Graves would be real wishy-washy and back and forth some, but not nearly as much as Booker T.
Graves at least adds nuance to it, and he has justification for it. Like he'll even say, like, I normally wouldn't agree with this, but with Booker, he just like he'll say like the heel thing. So the thing he's been saying lately is, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And then all of a sudden he'll go like, come on, ref, why you let him do that? It's like, you yourself just said if they're not cheating, they're not trying. But then you want the ref to address the cheating? Like,
right.
Are you a face? Or are you a heel?
Pick a lane.
Pick a lane. And like I said, now every time you hear Trick Williams come out to the ring, it's not just Trick's entrance anymore. It's Trick and Booker. So it just bugs me that like Vic Joseph is carrying Booker through all of this, and Vic Joseph is the is the voice of reason, and he's the logical one. And I actually think he should be promoted in some way to Raw or SmackDown. Probably, in my opinion.
How was Meefloaf in the chat and not on the show? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just thinking that.
I think
Meefloaf, get your ass in here.
I'd love to see Vic Joseph and Wade back together on Raw. Not that Joe Tessitore is bad, but like I think Vic just is worlds better.
I love Vic. I like Joe Tess a lot. I don't think Joe could do NXT. I would love to see somebody else with Vic on NXT. Honestly, I like Booker. I do. You know what I think the problem with Booker is? He doesn't have Vince in his ear. Vince would straighten that shit out, believe it or not. But the problem,
if you go back to when he was commentating back on SmackDown like years ago, he was fine. And that's probably because he had Vince in his ear, so he wouldn't let him go. Yeah,
exactly. Like who is over there that Booker T is going to feel is above him enough to chin check his ass? Sean?
It's not Sean, because he's probably feeling.
They start at the same time, man.
Yeah,
they've been in this game as long, and he's not going to look at Sean like he's going to look at Sean like he's the boss and give him some respect. But if Sean is chin checking him in the earpiece, Booker T's gonna be like, quack quack, shucky ducky, whatever. He's not gonna care. You know, maybe Michael Hayes could tell him something, but he's over at Raw. Like, I don't know that there's anybody with enough.
Yeah, I don't think Michael Hayes should be telling Booker anything, to be honest.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. Ric Flair maybe could come in and get in the back one day and be like, I don't know, Book, maybe you should tone that down a little bit.
Oh, Ric Flair recently said that Hulk Hogan had leukemia. They found out when they were doing the last surgery on him. Breaking news.
Yeah, I'm sure Flair. We can all trust Ric Flair.
Oh, Rebecca, I'm watching the game right now. You're
looking at me as if... You're looking at me as if I even care why Hulk Hogan.
I am literally texting people about this game right now too. And Justin, these guys know in our chat. These guys know in the chat. Like, as the Phillies fan, we're facing the winner of this series, and I'd like it to even up a bit. I'm just saying.
Well, feel free to pop on in, Meefloaf. By the way, Meefloaf just woke up because it's like, I don't know, 3 a.m. He's probably have to feed his child or do some carpentry on his floor or something, because that's Meefloaf. All right, I'm going to move on to this next topic. I want to get into this for a minute because I find it very, very interesting. I take some issue with some things that my dear Bubba Ray Dudley had to say about this match. Bubba Ray thinks that the fans should not have an opinion on the SmackDown main event. That's nice, Bubba. and I get it. You are a professional, and you do offer a certain perspective of things. I appreciate that perspective. I appreciate any perspective from somebody who's been in there, but you also have to understand that everyone who says that wrestling journalists or mark podcasters or whoever else's opinions are completely null and void is in fact wrong, in my opinion. Hey, let's look at the NFL. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of credible commentators that have never played in the league for the NFL. MLB, pretty sure it's the same thing. Boxing, I don't remember seeing Jim Gray ever get in the ring and throw fists. Like, there are plenty of people who watch enough, who understand we're intelligent people that can offer insight and commentary. And whether or not people want to, pay money for that or see that or not, then you don't. But I mean, come on, how many sports talk radio shows are out there? And like only wrestlers are supposed to be allowed to comment on these things? I'm going to tell you what, Bully and anybody else out there who has a problem with it, that thing on SmackDown was fucked up. And every viewer who watches it has a right to comment on it if they want to, because here I am watching your advertisements, which means I'm putting money in their pockets to watch them make a mistake. If I watched a movie and the scene had a mess up in it that I don't like, guess what? I'm probably going to comment on it, or I'm going to go on Rotten Tomatoes and downvote it, or whatever the hell I'm going to do. I have that power and ability. So I want to get into this thing
I love how this is coming from the same guy who told my buddy Josh, he brought him backstage at Ring of Honor and said, shut up and be a fan.
Right.
So fans are not allowed to have opinions. We're just supposed to watch the product and not say a thing, or not be content with things, or be happy with everything.
I don't disagree that his opinion is more expert than other opinions. Of course it is. He's got 30 some odd years in the business. I mean, I was there in the ECW arena. I love that dude. But anyway, so let me get into the crux of this question. Hey, I'm supposed to be doing this, right, Byron?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to do it for just the intro to this. So anyway, 3-way women's main event. A lot of people are throwing the blame at Nia, but basically we go into this thing, and if you haven't seen it, you should just look it up on the internet. There's a botch on a pin count. There could be several things that happen. So earlier in the match, Jade takes a bump on the ring steps from Nia, and she gets busted open. Didn't look like the spot was especially done wrong or anything.
On. Was it from Nia? Because that was my confusion throughout the whole thing, because I didn't watch it. I was like, so she got busted by Nia. Is that correct?
But it was a regular ring step spot.
Yeah,
it wasn't anything.
Yes, it was.
To say it was from Nia's kind of like.
It was Nia and Jade doing the spot, and Jade came up with.
Okay, fine. That's what that's okay.
From the ring steps. So
well,
it didn't happen in that ending sequence.
We all know how that's done, though, in stunts and wrestling and everything. The person taking it guides their head into the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it could have been Jade's fault, could have been Nia's fault. Nia took a lot of shit for it on the internet, and I'm not really, I don't know if I'm laying blame or not. Maybe she did something a little off, but again, it didn't look egregiously bad. It looks like bad circumstance. And so Jade gets up, Jade's back in the match or whatever. Jade does the black hole slam thing, and it looks like, and then she gets pushed out, and Tiffy's supposed to come in for the cover and do this other stuff. It looked to me like what happened was Tiffy doesn't get there quite in time. A lot of people were speculating that maybe there was a change in the match because Jade was already injured. But if Jade was already injured and they were going to change the finish, why is she in the ring doing the slam thing? Like, why is she in the ring doing power moves? I think they would have changed the finish differently than that. It looked like Tiffy missed a cue, didn't get in on time. Like she was supposed to steal the win maybe, or knock her out or whatever. And then the ref doesn't count the 3, but Nia does not lift the shoulder at all. Then Nia starts jaw-jacking with the referee, Daphne LaShawn, who's the ref. And then they go into another finishing sequence with the best moonsault ever, which is, by the way, all you will see in the retcon that they have up now.
It's smart.
You will not see any of the botch anymore except on social media accounts from people who posted it. So I'm just curious what you guys think about this situation, about how it was handled on TV, how it was handled in the internet, and who you guys think is to blame. I personally think it was Tiffy coming in late that actually set the whole thing awry. But I think that Nia jaw-jacking with the ref when her shoulder is still down, by the way, she's trying to figure out how to finish the match. Not a veteran move. And the whole rest of the match, honest to God, Nia had been leading that thing great. But the end, it still showed like where she needs a little bit of work. To me, Jade completely not the problem. Surprisingly, because she's the greenest one in there. Well, no, technically Tiffy is the greenest one. Anyway, curious to know what you guys think about the entire thing. I think the whole thing was just sideways and awful and makes WWE look like trash third-rate television.
I'll go first real quick. I think this is one of those things where that gets worked out when you're in the old days, when you're doing territories and you're working, I don't know, 8 nights a week or whatever they say. You do these things. The finish was a very simple finish. Someone hits a move, goes for the pin. The second person pushes them off and takes the pin themselves. Very simple thing. However, you know, when you're going from A to B to C, sometimes B doesn't happen the way you want. You still got to get to C. And they didn't figure it out. They didn't have a backup plan. They didn't have just a quick improv of what to do. And the biggest issue to me, I mean, Tiffy missed it. I think it's pretty obvious her timing was off. But you figure it out. Like, that happens. But you need to know what to do on if you're going to be trusted on live TV. And, you know, Nia kicked out. Okay, great. She preserved the match. But then Tiffany can't just pin her for a 3 count without another step in the story of the match. So for me, hindsight being 2020, I would have said that Tiffy should have pushed Jade off and then gone for the moonsault finish or some sort of roll up. But ultimately, she should have known that she couldn't have done the 3 count after the kick out. You should have done something. But it just comes down to thinking on your feet, and they're not used to it because everything is so scripted, paint by numbers, and done perfectly the way they're told to do it. Sometimes you need to, learn. You need to have the experience of everything that you're planning on going wrong, and you have to figure it out. You have to use your wits and just kind of figure out in a high pressure situation. And that's where the best of the best have excelled. So I think that's what happened. I think they just couldn't think clearly to identify and then problem solve.
Can you kick out of a 3 count?
Well, when you kick out at 5,
Nia should have kicked out too, but I mean, at that point,
Nia Hogan. Right.
So what do you think about this whole thing, Meef? Good morning, by the way. How is it? It's like 4 a.m. there.
It is. Paula.
I agree with this point entirely, Kelsey. Khaleesi. Sorry, that's a Khaleesi, not a Kelsey.
House shows do help. Paula woke me up and was like, "Oh, it's 4 a.m." I was like, "Start at 3," and then I woke up and realized probably Dynamite went on for about 17 hours. So I saw you were only here for 22 minutes. I was like, "Oh, okay, perfect." No, it's a car crash. It looked horrific, and it was just throw a shoulder up, Nia and kick out before the 3 hits. That's the best way to be a veteran and to save the match and whatever you're going to do, and then we'll just work it out from there. I mean, plenty of people can work things out on the fly. It's generally how real life works. But there we go. How did Jade get cut open then? Was it in that kick?
Okay, so no, it was not the kick. A lot of people think that because
that's what I thought.
It was the stairs. It was the stairs in a spot before that. All right, Jimmy, have at.
I mean, I think that basically everyone in the match is to blame in some way, shape, or form. Least of all Jade, but still partial just because of, I don't know if it was how she guided herself to take that steps bump, which caused her to bleed hard away. But I think right after that moment, it threw everything in disarray. And I think the one thing that people forget is the ref probably has whichever producer was in charge of that match. I'm going to assume TJ. I don't remember if he's on SmackDown or not, but probably had that producer going off in her ear trying to correct course. And so while she's listening to that, she has to guide 3 other people to that finish. And if she can't properly guide them, then the timing is off. Someone might, like Nia might have heard wrong, which is why she didn't throw her shoulder up. Tiffy's timing was off by jumping in. I mean, just by watching it, it seemed like, yeah, Tiffy was late, and it wouldn't have made sense for Nia to take a pin off of a drop kick to someone else. But honestly, like, as bad as it was, and everyone was talking about it that night and a few days after, this will all be forgotten in about a week. People will remember this week because they have to reference the match on SmackDown this Friday. But by next week, by Crown Jewel, like, this will be, in the rear view. Doesn't even matter. People have blown it out of proportion. Yeah, it sucked. It looked terrible, but in the end, show's going to move on. It's fine. Whatever.
I like it's fine, whatever as an answer. I'm always good with that as an answer. Tony, what do you think?
It's on the ref.
It's on the ref?
Yeah, the ref is an extension of production. Production should have caught the situation. And the ref, I mean, simple solution that I thought of right off the bat, right when it happened. And I know I'm not a professional, I'm a professional fan. Is that a thing now? I was never a ref, I was never a wrestler or whatever. You can always like pretend to check on the shoulder as if they had moved, right? You're going 1, 2, and then you change hands and you go like this.
Yeah,
it's like,
you do a swipe.
They millimetrically moved so that you break the count, and then you can do whatever after, right? You can just be like, hey, move your ass or whatever, right? You can tap him afterwards.
If you watch the video, Daphne does do a swipe, but she does it with the other hand. She does it with the far side hand. And that's not really going to help a bigger person like Nia move their shoulder.
Exactly. So I for me, that's it, because that production-wise, if you think about it, the ref is a last line of defense of production. And actually you can do angles or whatever, but if you're communicating directly, it's like break the count, and they will have to come up with something. I think the reason why this is in everybody's mind on my end is because it breaks suspend belief so bad that you go for the rest of the show like, oh man, this is all scripted, this is not happening for real now. I think that's what it hurts the most, because it hurts the rest of the show. And then if we talk about it, it breaks the rest of the suspend belief that we want to keep. But I've been reading a lot about this Tilly Norwood actress. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
The AI actress, yes.
Yes,
one of my favorites.
Yeah, okay.
Screw Tilly Norwood. Screw her.
I'm a big fan.
Well,
I don't even get it. What is the point?
I'll get there. I think one day we're gonna miss human errors, and this is part of the conversation, because we were looking for excellence when we're watching the product. We wanna make sure that visual effects don't look like the ones in the Flash. We want to make sure that our 3 counts are, that our 2 counts are close enough, but they're not too close that they, destroy the suspend belief. But now there is a possibility that one day we won't have these kind of errors anymore, because everything will be automated or AI. It's not really far. You think TKO is not going to explore the possibility of having AI wrestlers? I mean, it's probably working on it right now. So I think that it's okay to have this kind of errors, because they remind us that we're still human, and then that makes the next time they try, at least I think, to be even better. So there's always going to be human error, because these people that own our TVs are human, and they will make those mistakes. Whereas we are in the fence right now of being in a situation where our entertainment is no longer human. So I think this is, again, okay, and it will be fine. But, at that moment, it sticks up.
All right.
I mean, I would say this is probably the wrestling equivalent to a Starbucks cup on Game of Thrones. Everyone talked about it for a couple of weeks.
Fair enough. Yeah.
For production-wise, it was a huge gaffe, and we look back on it now.
But I'll also say that the Starbucks cup was in one scene at the very beginning of the show or whatever. It wasn't in like the ultimate finale with the dragon, burning the main character or whatever. I will say this. Speaking of which, Khaleesi had a good point, and it was kind of what I had in my notes here as my summary of the whole thing. I blame Vince. I blame TKO as much as anybody who was in that ring, because wrestling isn't doing what it used to do. These guys used to work a program together for a while on the road, in-house shows, and then whenever they got to the blow-off, the finish switched. We don't do that anymore. And especially with somebody that's Nia's size, these girls don't get the reps with her. She's not as bad as everyone thinks, but literally when all of a sudden you're going in there and you're working a match with a body type you're not used to, it's hard. It's difficult, and they need the reps, and it's hard because they're not getting them. That changed when Vince made TV good, and every week something different was happening on TV. He did that. Then WCW compounded that. Even in ECW, those guys would work each other for a while. And even in the Vince system, they would work programs a little more often. But now in the TKO system, it is a lot more hot-shotting. It is brand new, completely fresh programs from pay-per-view to pay-per-view. Pay-per-views are happening every 3 weeks, not every 2 months or 6 weeks or whatever they were doing before. It's a lot, and these guys are switching it up. It's part of why house shows doesn't work anymore, because they have to do so much new stuff for TV. So anyway, I think we all have some slightly different takes on this one, which I think makes it interesting, and hopefully they won't have any more big botches anytime soon, because that would be unfortunate, because a main event botch when in the women's division, especially when they're finally getting their shit together, is kind of unfortunate. So, wow, I haven't changed my banner. Let me change my banner. Been using the wrong banner. I'm gonna quickly hit this one.
That match was actually very, very good up until that point too.
It really was, and Nia was actually a big part of why it was good too. And I am the first person that loved to hate on Nia in the past, but I think she's improved a ton. And I thought
Chelsea has actually has gone online and to say that, to defend Nia and say that she's a locker room leader, which I think says a lot.
Yeah, and it looks like it. How her and Daphne didn't communicate. Like, I get Daphne, the ref, somebody being in the ear, it being hard to get the whole match back under control when Jade's bumped out to the floor. Tiffy's waiting on the other side for the run-in spot. But the two people that probably messed it up the most are the two that were right there. It was Daphne and Nia. Like, the one person you can talk to is right there, girl. Like, just slap her on the hand, tell her to get up.
Just thinking, one of the things she could have done, because Tiffy went for the pin. She could have kicked her off and gone about the blood. She could have just been like, "Oh no, blood, wait a minute, blood."
Right. Wait, yeah, gone and checked on Jade or something or whatever. Anyway, we're gonna move on quickly. I want to talk about this whole NXT TNA thing. Does WWE have too much developmental now? I mean, we have NXT, we have LFG, we have Evolve, and now we also have TNA and AAA, which are basically kind of lower leagues. We also have the ID thing.
That's so
where
funny.
You can be a WWE performer that's an indie performer that's not really in the WWE, but we've identified you.
Work or see how that works. Like, to be honest, I've not seen
there. It's drawing at shows. It's drawing at shows.
Okay,
it is.
Be in America, I guess.
It's helping people draw because you're putting the WWE name on a smaller show and you're identifying talent as talent to watch. And in that regards, I think it's actually. I think it's a genius idea in that regards, but what's the this whole crossover thing is weird to me at this point. And now we've got another NXT star with a TNA belt. I feel like the Hardys are gonna take the belts off of Dark State. I don't see the Dark State being the group that the Hardys need to put over right now to put more TNA belts into NXT. Don't think that's going to happen. So I'm pretty sure the Hardys are going to win that match, and then they're going to face Team 3D, Bubba, and Devon with a bunch of belts on the line, because this way the Hardys can just say they've literally won every WWE tag belts and whatever. I don't care. But where are we going with all this? How do you guys feel about this whole crossover situation? Is it working out? Is there too much development now because of this TNA NXT crossover? It was good TV on Tuesday, and I think it was good TV over the weekend, but I don't know how I feel about it going forward. And so I'm going to leave it up to the panel to figure it out for me. Who wants it? Oh, Jim is like, I watch NXT. I know what the hell I'm talking about.
I mean, here's the thing. The question isn't so much like, is there too much developmental? The question is there too much talent? To which I say yes. The reason they have so many shows for developmental is because WWE just is on a hiring spree. And we had a side conversation previously where people we know have talked to other people and they're like, oh yeah, who's that guy? And it's like, that guy's been with developmental for 2 years, has never seen TV once. You know what? I get trying to find the next big stars.
That's true.
But look at the current big stars who just became the big stars. You have Stephanie Vicaire, who they found basically through New Japan and AEW. So it's like, okay, well, that's not even a fresh homegrown talent, and you're pushing her to the moon now. Braun Breaker, who is basically a generational talent because of his family lineage. We don't really have too many of those people that they saw, like through like an athletic submission or something, and then picked up to hire like a Bianca Belair. Like, it's just these random athletes now, and they're not giving them enough time. So it's like, okay, well, we'll come up with all these different shows. And it's funny that Evolve is basically the NXT of NXT, and then LFG is the NXT of Evolve. It's just it's wild to me that you have this much talent, and even now with all those shows, there's still plenty of people who aren't getting any TV time. Like
none.
Like what happened to Thea Hale? What happened to Ridge Holland, who we just saw on TNA, but for the first time in a while? What happened to like Duke Hudson was let go because they had nothing for him, yet you restart Chase U. Like, none of it really makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah, it didn't. But it's because you still got the other guys there, and you're like, let's bring it back because that was a good gimmick. I don't know. It was weird. Byron, what do you think about this?
I don't really watch all of that. I think just in general, I think I talked about this a little bit in the past weeks.
Byron wants Dark Elevation to come back, by the way. That's his.
I would love show. Dark Elevation to come back. That was just so much fun. That was a lot of fun. But just my concern is that everything gets under one umbrella, and then it all kind of becomes one place to work. So if that door shuts, then all of a sudden there's a lot less places to work, because that one door covers maybe 5 companies that you could have worked for in the past. So that's my concern. But I don't know. I mean, I think it kind of, I think it kind of sucks that AAA is sort of a feeder to NXT, which feeds to a company that historically doesn't do well with people of color who work for them. They're doing a lot better now the past couple years, but still it could be inconsistent and it still isn't perfect. Like
I say, why are they doing it?
Phantasma should be doing something, like being employed and working in WWE. He does everything they want him to do, and he took his mask off. He's the type of talent that excels there, and they don't know what to do with him besides put him in the Mexican and Mexican adjacent group, and put them all in the same segment. So, I don't know. I think it's better to have different places to work, different bosses to work for, different creative ideologies to to learn and choose and work for. So that's my take on it.
Who wants next, Tony or Meef? Meef wants in.
It's I don't want to say classic merger because I've never been part of a business. I've been part of a business that's trying to merge, but I've seen things where people move in. You always, when you get a new manager or whatever, and then suddenly their people come in to become managers, and then suddenly some staff from the other store appear. It's just that classic thing. WWE takes over, and the first thing everybody says is, "Oh, here we go. They're going to make a WWE guy the champion of TNA or AAA or whatever." And they're like, "Oh no, no, we're gonna do good things for the company. We're gonna do this and then basically, usually it takes a while, but WWE have just kind of gone, that thing that you all thought we were gonna do is actually what we're gonna do." Which is kind of the problem with what they're doing, because everything they do, including their programming, it's so, like, you can see it a mile off. Seth Rollins, it's almost like literally Seth Rollins. You got people like Bully Ray and all these other guys, the guys protecting the business, or not protecting the business because they talk about it, fourth wall all the time. They'll go on about, they're like going, "Oh, you didn't know until it really happens. You can take a guess, but it's not." No, Bully, I would have put my fucking mortgage on Seth Rollins not been injured. And the only good thing about that whole thing was the Willy Wonka moment. And it's like, Seth Rollins, of course, classic shitness, would do a Willy Wonka bit.
I don't disagree with that.
And he probably did a not Michael Jackson, sorry, Johnny Depp, which is Michael Jackson's version of Willy Wonka.
Oh God, that's brutal.
But all right, it's Tony. Classic thing. They move in and they just,
So we're saying that the Money in the Bank was the golden ticket.
Exactly.
I guess. By the way, I'm being forced to talk about NXT and TNA at this time. I don't know. I seldom ever.
Well, let me spin it for you this way, though, Tony, because it's not necessarily just about TNA and NXT.
No. Okay, go ahead.
To me, this is one of the things. Like Dominic, AAA Mega Champion. Then you've got Dragon Lee now challenging, or is the next challenger. Okay, so Psycho Clown and Pagano and
we can forget about Psycho Clown.
La Parka are just sitting in the back now. All these guys that they've been making top. Alberto is still under contract. He's just sitting in the back. Okay, now at NXT you've got Trick Williams holding a TNA belt. You've got what's her face now holding. Yeah, like
Kalani Jordan.
Kalani holding a TNA belt after Ash just got back the TNA belt from a different, like that. Just WWE is taking over all of this stuff, and not necessarily saying that's bad, because I think some of that was the whole point, to give these other promotions the rub from the bigger promotion, but we're doing it all at once. I don't know. Now, tell me what you were going to say before that.
Well, NXT, like right now, I don't know. I cannot watch TNA. I just can't. I tried, evidently, because I like wrestling, and I like to try everything. I go to a fucking Elma patio thing in Monterey, which is a sacrifice, because you lose like at least 5 pounds just being there. And then this NXT versus TNA is not gonna make me watch TNA. It's just not. It's gonna make me watch NXT even less, probably, for all that I care. But to your point, I do care about Dominic Mysterio being AAA champion. I care about that. That does make me watch and I watch Triple H just because I want to see if that guy will become champion. Yes, but and also to your point, like, yes, all these guys are taking the belts. Do you guys remember? I mean, I'm pretty sure you were in your early 40s. What did this happen? No, I'm kidding. Do you guys remember? No, you were not. You were in your 30s, hopefully. Do you guys remember the possibilities there were when ECW got bought and WCW got bought, and then all that disappeared into like a very dumbass invasion angle that had no people really from WCW, and then
which is literally being referenced. It's being referenced for this TNA thing.
It is being
changed
referenced.
The show from Invasion to Showdown.
But I think because of the bad taste it left the last time they did it. That was why they changed the name, because all of us ECW fans were like, wait, whoa, last time you did this, or WCW fans in Byron's case, we're like, whoa, last time you guys did this, you killed my childhood dreams. I stopped watching wrestling for like 7 years after that crap. It was bad.
So this is just how corporations work. They have their product already signed. They buy properties, and this is the part that we think about. Oh, this is the way the Beans did things. No, this is just the way the American corporations do things. They buy properties, they rip them apart for their guts, sell them out, and then they put whatever label on top of whatever now they're selling, and that is now your Coca-Cola, new Coca-Cola, and whatever. So, but do they have too much development? No, because I'm pretty sure that at one point the other side, whatever you want to call it, AEW, CMLL, whatever, they're going to get more money, and if there's money, they're gonna put more money, and they're gonna be competing with these people for at least the foreseeable future. So of course they have to farm out a lot of people that can, just jump in. And now that they're doing like international shows, now you're gonna have. Well, I cannot make this joke because it only works in Mexico. There's a band in Mexico that during the holidays, like Christmas and Lucas, they play all across Mexico in the same day, because that band is just the name of the band now. So you're gonna have WWE Europe, and you're gonna have maybe Seth Rollins going over there, and then you're gonna have Triple H in America, and then you're gonna have Dominic in Mexico. So that's how that's gonna work. But it really is not really WWE as it was. It's just your local brandized thing that they're putting on right there.
Yeah.
So do they have a lot of talent? Yes, but we need that so that this thing can keep going.
We're basically seeing what was the this is the whole point of why NXT UK began.
Yeah.
It's just happening on a different level.
And look, NXT UK gave us some wonderful things. Like, people don't forget, there would be no Gunther without NXT UK. I mean, there certainly was a lot of good that came out of it, but also we didn't get a lot of that good until it folded. So it's like, did it work? Did it not work? How many Grande Americanos came out of NXT UK? I don't know. Like 10.
I will say that Walter versus Ilya was one of the best matches, and it occurred in front of no audience.
But hilariously, that match happened repeatedly at WXW in Germany. Yep. So.
But that's always again, that is part of wrestling, is you build up the match, you do it over and over again. Secret Andre the Giant and Hulk Hogan wrestled many times before the big match. Like that was part of wrestling. It just worked. You did it dark until you did it in front of the lights, and then you did it in front of the cameras, and then it was good, and then you did a rematch. All right, I'm gonna
time to fail now. That's the problem, because that's like the way the business works now. We document everything. Oh, I took a crap this morning. I put it on Instagram. So it's just like the first time that I realized. Okay, sorry, I'm not standing here Byron style, but the first time I realized this was crazy is one of my friends posted that he was at 7-Eleven. Like, who gives a fuck, bro? Why are you posting you're at 7-Eleven? But from then on, it just became that everywhere, right? Like every step of your life. So that's why the business is like this now.
It is, and everyone's got to get used to it. And sadly, for the talent, it means that you have to tighten up your game, because you're not getting in the reps with the same people. You can't just go out there and call a match and then call it different for TV when it's time to do the blow off. You have to go out there. You have to lay out your matches. You have to work with somebody you haven't worked with for the last couple of months. And then you got to tighten up your shit, and that's why we have so much development, is because that's where they're learning it. They're learning the WWE style, and we'll see where it goes. I think we're in undiscovered country for wrestling in general. All right, time for the Lucha Underground look back. I'm not going to dive super deep into this, but it was kind of fun. I went back and watched. I'm wearing the shirt, episode 100 of Lucha Underground. We're getting close to episode 200 here of the MMMshow. It is coming up. I'm already starting to talk to some guests. I got some things cooking.
Ooh.
Oh shit. Breaking it out. That's the MMMshow one from MMMshow 100. Oh yeah.
Wow.
So we even did our own. We even did our own shirts for it. We'll get you some merch. We'll get you some merch.
I still have a few that were supposed to be shipped out to people.
I think you still have DJs,
Tony,
don't you?
Yeah, I did. I made a fake one on Spreadshirt or whatever, like to get delivered to my house to give to Mel in like 2017 or something.
It was amazing.
Oh wow.
He bootlegged his own show to give it to Thunder Rosa. Amazing.
Yeah.
Our best shirt was
still got
Casey
these
one.
bad boys if anyone wants.
Is that the Jimsuke Nakamura?
Oh
Yep, sure
yeah.
is. Still got some stickers.
You want the better version is the white version.
I gotta go. I know you guys want to talk Lucha Underground, and I want to stay, but this has been a full day for me. I've been up since like 7, and tomorrow I gotta wake up. I think at 5.
Tony, please
my
do
Lord.
one thing for me. Enjoy the food.
Go do God's work, Tony.
Bro, have you ever had a street corn?
I've had a latte, yeah.
Yeah.
So, every time I come to Mexico City, I deplete the production of Mexican corn when I go. I'm actually going to get some right now before I go to bed. So, hey guys, I love being here. I will have better timing next time. I'm just like,
hey, look, we didn't even think we were gonna get you because I knew you were traveling. So I'm glad you were able to stop by.
I saw like, oh yeah, I have an hour. I think I can do it. I'm probably gonna die, but yeah.
Well, and poor JT got stuck doing something else too, so he couldn't be here either. So
I was asleep.
All right, guys. I gotta
filled
go.
in for JT. All right, brother.
Always great to be here. You guys take care. Remember to follow me on TonyC.Allen on whatever Instagram. Bye bye.
All right. Check you later. And he's out. So Lucha Underground 100. First of all, episode schmepisode. I just remember that when they announced that they were doing this thing, all of us were like, oh my God, there's been 100 episodes. Like, it happened so much faster than most TV shows. And you forget that the first season and the third season are hella long. I think there's 40 episodes in both of those seasons or something. They weren't doing like... It's
season 3, the weird one where there was a split in the middle, wasn't it?
There was a split. Yes, there was. But there was also 40 some odd episodes because that was the order. But production couldn't sustain it straight through. And it was probably better for the wrestlers to leave and come back too. It was such a weird thing. Lucha Underground, people have to understand, was such an experiment. It didn't fit any kind of mold. Like regular TV shows, you know, a full season order on network television is 22 to 23 episodes. Lucha Underground somehow was 40 episodes, but wasn't 52 like every other wrestling show that goes year round.
Mm-hmm.
So they were falling 12 short. And then the second season only got a smaller pickup, but of course it was still considered a full season because it was 20 episodes. So,
and the breaks in between the seasons were inconsistent as well. It was just all over the place.
All over the place. But needless to say, it was season 3, episode 35, which somehow got them to episode 100. And it was a fun, interesting episode. Right off the bat, you get Ricky Mandel changing his name to Ricky Mundo and pissing Johnny Mundo off. So then Johnny Mundo kicks him out of their Atomicos match, which was supposed to be the entirety of Worldwide Underground, which was his faction at the time, which was PJ Black, Taya,
Jack
Evans, Mundo, and Ricky Mandel. So he gets the boot, and they bring in Marty the Moth because he's the nemesis of Phoenix at the time in the storylines. And then the other team is, I have it written down, Phoenix. Who else was it? Phoenix, Sexy Star, Puma, and Cage.
Dark Puma.
Puma Dark. Even though he's
Dark.
with an all baby face-ish group. I don't know. It didn't make a ton of sense.
He was wearing black, right?
Yeah, he was wearing the tight. He was wearing the tight jeans. It was when Trevor liked to show off them cheeks, them cakes.
I remember one time he forgot to get rid of his cell phone before a match, and so you see the cell phone in the pocket because they're skinny jeans. You see the cell phone in the pocket.
Didn't he throw it to Melissa or something? Like
yeah, he gave it to the ref.
Oh, the ref. Okay.
I think he gave it to Rick or someone, but it was so funny because they're skinny jeans, so you saw the full-on phone right there. You're like, why is this guy coming to wrestle with the phone in his pants?
But remember, he desperately needed to lose his mask so people would know it was him. Apart from the
I think Puma.
Apart from
Puma
that big
Dark,
tattoo on his chest.
Killshot was a little more proponent of losing his mask at that particular moment in time. He was very adamant that he wanted his mask off, but anyway, it was an interesting episode. There was a Gift of the Gods qualifying match with Rey Horus, Dragon Azteca was the character name, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And Penta. And it was funny going back and watching that match to me because it's very WWE style, except everything's from the left because they're both luchadors. So they work the other side of the body the whole time, but it's very like, it felt like a Seth Rollins match almost. Like it was good stuff. It was, regular moves. It wasn't a ton of crazy flippy stuff, but there was definitely some athletics to it. And it was just like, it was very indicative of what Lucha Underground was. Like this was the filler match, Penta and Dragon Azteca, but it was like world-class filler. It's the best filler you could get. And it was flawless, of course. And I remember being there. It wasn't the editing because believe it or not, some of the matches from Lucha Underground were completely edited, folks. I don't know if a lot of people know that. That was not live wrestling television.
Yeah. It's fun how even some matches, some finishes were done in post.
Was this one of them?
Sexy Star could run ropes.
The Rey Mysterio Matanza match at the end of this one, or what was the one where Matanza punched through the window?
That was Ultima Lucha, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an Ultima Lucha, but I can't remember which one.
But didn't they have to retcon it the next week and do something else or the next day to fix the whole thing? They redid part of it.
I think they pushed it and redid it the next day.
I think they redid the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the whole thing. He came out and punched glass. I think that's as far as they got.
And he bled out, didn't he?
I definitely wasn't there for that one.
Yeah,
because I
was there like the day after.
Yeah,
I just remember the whole thing
this
being a clusterfuck, and they did they shot some stuff twice, and when it went to air, it was definitely not the same thing, and the dirt sheets had reported it one way, and there was times when they would film stuff at Lucha Underground, and we didn't know how it fit in at all in the storyline because it got moved around, especially in season 3. There was stuff all over the place in season 3 and some in season 4 too. And
we never saw any vignettes, so everything is like, okay, I guess this happened.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So in this episode, there's this huge vignette where Jeremiah Crane, Sami Callihan, is trying to kiss Katrina and get some kind of immortality or something from her immortal kiss or something. And then Cage comes in and knocks him over, and then the gauntlet is loose, and they're chasing the big gold gauntlet of power. And then Matanza comes in, and it all leads into the storylines. But even just me now watching this one episode out of context, I didn't know how that stuff fit in. It made me realize how much you really had to be watching that show to understand all the stuff. But the people who were watching it were. It was a lot of fun.
It made viewing the show, when they would do a premiere screening too, all the people who came to the tapings were even more excited to go to those things because going to the tapings didn't actually spoil the show for you, unless you're Casey watching Ultima Lucha Dos, the main event.
Now, was I the only one that went to this episode and got the shirt? You guys didn't get the...
I have shirts. I have the shirt. Oh,
I have the shirt, but I don't even remember how I got it.
EVW.
Well, because I watched the episode and everyone's wearing them, so I didn't know if it was like something that EVW gave us later, or if we got them when we went to the show, or what. But I'm assuming I just got it at the show because everybody on the episode, I think, is wearing them.
I think you all got it, and I know he gave me one because I complained.
Oh, because you weren't there and complained like a little bitch.
I was like, I wish I had.
I feel like I got the shirt from one of you, maybe.
I think I might have gotten some extras.
So I think maybe I
Byron got my shirt.
But of course, if I got one that fit Jim, it was not going to fit Byron, especially not back then.
I got a large, and I'm a medium.
I didn't get you a medium. Hey, me and Meefloaf have both worked our way into schmedium since then, so I'm proud of both of us. It's a big change. Byron still.
Oh no, I've still got huge shoulders.
I'm a large.
Really weird.
Large.
All right, I'm going to go into pops and drops.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Byron, does that mean that you actually have a pop and or drop?
Absolutely. So Ricky Saints, I think this is his opportunity. No.
That's my pop.
Meef hates the pose. So the 6-year anniversary for AEW was today. They did a cool little montage. I thought that was cool. They showed faces that don't work for them anymore. Famously don't work for them anymore. I thought it was cool that they included all of that.
Faces that don't work for them anymore, like who? Like Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker? Wait, they do still work there.
They're still collecting. They're still collecting paychecks. I mean, like, let's just say someone got fired twice for pretty much doing the same thing. He was on it, and Cody was on it. And like, I think that's great. You show respect, you know? But I think
Paley Fest. Byron, we did that one, didn't we? That was great.
We went to Paley Fest. That's where the Lucha Underground popcorn holder.
And they showed the Hell of War match, right?
Yeah.
And the panel.
A lot of fun.
And the panel. That was good.
That was so cool. I enjoy Tony Storm doing.
I'm going to interrupt you again because Rebecca's on a roll here. Holy hell! 2 times in one show where Byron did homework. Are we getting raptured?
That was supposed to be last week, Rebecca. Try and keep up. I enjoyed Tony Storm's character work. She lost the title. She's still interesting and important. I think that's smart and vital to a wrestler. But my biggest pop is basically the AEW women's tag titles. I think that's caused a lot of excitement for women's wrestling in AEW and adjacent. And I think there's a lot of potential there to do some really fun TV and get a lot of good talent.
Who would you like to see rock the belts first?
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, there really are 2 female tag teams. That would be TJ and
and Harley and Stat.
I wouldn't even, because I mean, Harley has teamed with everybody. I was thinking more Gianna and Taya is the only other real women's group.
Yeah, not like they're doing anything, but I think it's going to be interesting. A lot of women wrestlers are beginning to pair up as well. To form these teams, to form something so they can get in and try and get a shot at the titles. And I think as far as storyline, kayfabe goes, that helps make it all look more important. Teams that I'm looking forward to seeing, not necessarily teams that have been around. I want to see Thunder Tits. I want to see Thunder Rosa and Tony Storm.
That'd be great.
Continue what they were doing. I think it was really entertaining and funny and good.
I kind of feel like they may try to slide Mina Shirakawa into that spot with Tony, though.
Maybe, but I think Tony was champ.
That kind of ruins the jokes, though, because she actually has Thunder Tits, and that kind of messes up the 2 flat-chested girls having a Thunder Tits group. But whatever.
Well, Tony's been working programs with everyone. She's been the champ for so long, True. So I think she could team up with anyone and have some sort of story. I do think they'll. There's been talk about Shida and Shuri teaming up. I think they used to, or they might be working together in Japan a little bit right now. I think that would be fun and entertaining.
Athena and Billy.
Athena and Billy. I think it would be really fun to see what comes together and how it plays out.
Okay, cool. All right, there's your pop.
Oh,
Jimmy,
and my
pop.
drop.
Oh,
And my drop is AEW.
No. We're not doing drops. We're doing pops now. We'll get you your drop.
Well, then tell me that before I start talking.
I just said, Jimmy, give me your pop.
Byron touched on it earlier, and I mentioned it earlier that my pop is Ricky Starks winning the NXT championship. Finally giving him the ball. Let's see if he runs with it. Whether it'll be good or not, I think that's what we all want to see. Like, what actually happens now that he's been given the ball.
It's make or break time for Ricky. It really is. Like, look, he's still got people in the back. I know for a fact that are questioning him at both companies, at all companies. And now's the time to put up or shut up. He didn't quite get there at AEW. He's gotten a new lease on life. He could be a top guy at WWE within the next 5 years, I think. I think they need him to work his way into that picture, but he's got to succeed at being the NXT champion. Like most of the guys that are at the top of the roster now over on the main roster were, so
I feel like we've been talking about Ricky's potential in WWE ever since he was FTW champion.
Yes.
So it's like, okay, well, FTW championship, TNT championship, those are one thing. Now you're the NXT champion.
He was AEW tag champ too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that
With
was marred by a lot of different
by him.
He started to get a bad attitude there. But
yeah,
I do think though he still was delivering entertaining segments and bits for the most part. And his tag team with Will Hobbs, his pairing with Will Hobbs, they were amazing. I thought they were great.
Yeah. And now that he's the champion of NXT, you're leading a company, so to speak. And now you have the people who are probably some of the best teachers in the business guiding you. I mean, it's make or break time.
Yeah. If he blows this one, it's over. Meef, you got a pop for this week?
No. But I'll just say Andrade having a job is probably for the best for him.
Yeah. I think that's a pop too.
I'm happy that he's got something to keep him going.
Keep him out of trouble.
Maybe is that what, yeah.
I agree. My pop for this week is Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I said 2 years ago on this show that Kyle Fletcher was the 14th best wrestler on the planet. People just didn't know it yet. I think maybe he's the 13th best wrestler on the planet now, and people actually do know it. So that is a huge improvement. I think you see the guy, and I've even had a couple conversations with the guy. No offense, Kyle, but not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but somehow he is putting it together. And that is all that I ask of my wrestlers. Like, look like something, act like something, do good work. And he's working with all different kinds of styles. He's working with every different kind of body type in AEW. He's working different kind of styles. And if you watch Kyle closely, he gives people some really, really precious soft bumps. And they look vicious, but he is really taking care of people in the ring for the most part. There have been some moments. Talk about some Adam Coles. They look, it happens, and I feel bad, and it was a little outrageous. But also, Adam should have never agreed to that move. That was something that was laid out ahead of time. That the agent, Kyle, and Adam should have all been like, let's not do this spot. But look. Maybe Kyle's learned from that. Maybe Kyle learned from that moment, because the stuff that he's been doing recently looks tremendous, but there's not a wrestler in that locker room right now that will tell you that he's working too stiff or he's doing too much. Like he's putting it together. Now the AEW style, I think, is still a little too much for my taste. I think it needs to get pulled back a little bit, but as far as working in that style, what you're looking for out of Kyle Fletcher is, can he get to Will Ospreay's level? I think he still has a couple of little touches that he needs, a little bit of ring psychology in the match that needs to get worked out. The promos are all headed the right direction, but I think there could be a little more. Like, can you imagine Kyle Fletcher in a mic battle with a CM Punk? Can you imagine him doing some of that stuff? Maybe not yet, but look, what he did in there with Orange Cassidy tonight, they took care of each other. The match was clean. It was solid. It was exciting. The ring psychology worked through the whole match. I didn't particularly think Cassidy was going to go over, but you never know, and you definitely got some of those moments. So anyway, my pop of the week, Cal Fletcher.
I hate to add time like Byron would, but just on the dumb thing, sometimes it's good for them to be dumb because then they're not like alert to everything and also overthinking things or possibly like actually knowing the truth, because sometimes that can make being intelligent sometimes is a curse.
And I don't disagree with that. I think Kyle Fletcher is a very passionate young man who is following his heart to its fullest extent. Like, he just goes for what he believes in, and he does not know anything else. And I think Ospreay was a bit like that too. Like, these guys
I got to see
going for it.
Fletcher pretty much on a nearly 3 weekly basis for like 3 years, and him and Mark Davis were absolutely amazing as a tag team. And then I loved their whole New Japan run as a tag team. I loved when they first came into AEW as a tag team. I've seen them way before they were in like New Japan and everything.
He was still solid then.
In the UK, oh my god, they were just amazing. Like
back when they were in PWG too.
Yeah.
Wait till Mark Davis comes back too.
They were just the most unreal tag team. And
I hope they put them back together.
They're like 19. It was
at this point, if Mark Davis comes back, how big does that make the Don Callis family? And will they be bigger than Chaos?
I don't know. It was like the Mark Davis getting in was so weird. Like, it felt like they had a storyline that they were going to run with, and then they're like, nah, if I could just put him in the group, let's not do whatever that was. And
then they restarted it.
Yeah. And
it didn't really make sense.
It was such a weird thing because he was supposed to be reluctant, but he had to do it. And it was a whole thing where they're trying to do a story that was too nuanced for this. This is going to be mean for the skill level of AEW storytelling.
Well, and that's the problem, because it wasn't too nuanced. We were all picking up on it. The fans were picking up on it. It was fine. It was going swimmingly.
They just didn't know how to tell a story like that. Their storytelling isn't that great.
No, and Tony goes for the match, and then when the talent comes and completes a storyline or insists on it or pushes it, I think it goes a little bit better, especially when they're all excited about getting to a match. Oh, it's a bit of a Thunder from Down Under appreciation there.
I will say, I think it's pretty obvious that it's been said by many people. You watch AEW for the wrestling, but you watch WWE for the storylines.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I mean, I think they both have really good qualities that the other one specializes in too. But yeah, for the most part,
Byron, I'm making you big box, so you can go right into your drop.
Here's my drop. I think specifically the clone. I want to call it clone because they spelled it wrong. But the clone reveal to me was a drop. I love the wrestler Arez. Yeah. I last saw him do a GCW match for their hardcore title against Tremont. It was awesome. Lots of blood, all sorts of cool stuff. He's a great guy. But as far as the reveal, classic AEW things happened. Number one, they repeated the same thing in almost consecutive segments on the same show. A luchador joined the Don Callis family twice. Oh, then you get into he has 20 people already and this and that. But like, you just did the same thing twice. And then like 2, they missed him taking off the hologram mask to reveal that he wasn't hologram. That's the whole thing.
Brother, every time AEW does that setup with the hard camera on the stage, there's some kind of botch. It has happened so many times.
But it's happened with so many other shows when it isn't that setup. I think it's just their technical direction in general. They missed a lot of spots tonight.
They're blocking and knowing, like they know what's going to happen. You have to.
They have production meetings now.
Like in that main event, why did you do a close-up corner shot of Marina and Yuta when you're missing the reaction from the other end?
It's crazy.
Right.
There's certain basic things. You don't, like AW in some places, you don't need them to do the WWE thing where you present to hard cam for everything. But the show should know that you need to see certain things. You need to see faces. You need to see
finishing moves, high spots.
Yeah,
actual moves.
WCW is changing though. Yeah, I mean WCW.
Didn't they miss the Kenny moonsault or whatever off the scaffolding when him and Will Ospreay magically got back together in 30?
Yeah.
Like they did 4 episodes of story in 20 seconds, and then all of a sudden they're jumping off the scaffolding and they missed the shot.
They had to use like fan footage, or they had to like go back and
yeah, they retconned it with fan footage.
But yeah, it's just bad. And here's what it boils down to. During the lockdown, they only shot at a Daly's place for a long time, and not once, they probably still don't know how to do it when they go back, not once did they ever learn how to shoot 2 people talking from the entrance and the ring.
Well, actually they do at Daly's place now. They can do it because and I remember this because of the start of the Diana and Thunder Rosa thing where they actually did that, but it's because they have the side angle.
They moved. But it's so
the entrance is off on the side at Daly's place now. It comes
and they
down
move the hard camera to
people sitting on the main stage,
and the hard cam is facing diagonally to
correct,
the ramp, right? Yeah.
So the ramp, yeah, and then they have a crane that comes over the audience to get secondary hard cam angle.
It's very easy though if you've ever shot something with more than one camera with people who are holding the cameras. It's very easy. To shoot 2 people
and
talking.
Literally it takes a 20-minute production meeting that day to figure that out.
Yeah,
it's not
you're
hard.
like, oh, they're gonna be here, so someone's gonna stand here, someone's gonna stand here, so that means you need to have a camera, here and here to shoot them. Great. Now what's the problem? Oh, we have to get the camera people to walk over there. Okay, you figure out a thing to get them to move without messing up the show, and then you're there.
Look, people talk a lot of shit about Kevin Dunn, but he knew where to put the cameras.
The thing is it's like you've got enough money to open up a shop. You've opened up a shop. You've never run a shop. Your staff have never run a shop. Have never worked in a shop. You've got nice shiny things on the shelves, but they're behind cases and no one actually has a key, and no one knows who's got the key.
But that's not what AEW is. You've got a shop with a bunch of new employees and a new owner, but every assistant manager has been a world-class person at the store before at the other place.
But none of them are asked. That's what I'm saying. The guy who runs a shop has gone, I'm going to employ these people, but doesn't know what to do with them.
The director, the camera people, they're all people who have done wrestling shows and stuff in the past. They've all done the thing. It's just remarkable that they're so.
I need to be doing this, and he's going. But this thing.
All right, Meef, you got to drop because Byron will go forever.
I'm done. I'm out. Small screen me.
The drop will always be, considering it's this, that horse shit, whatever the fuck. It's the lamest thing I've ever seen.
His music too.
It is so WWE. I get it to a degree, but it's the kind of thing when I watch it, I just go, he's never gonna go anywhere.
I don't know, man.
It's an instant. He's LA Knight number 2.
Somebody said that the first time Rick Rude swiveled his hips too.
He's got a thing. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, but
the first time Al Snow came out with a mannequin head.
Are we comparing Rick Rude to a guy who pretends?
Yes, I absolutely am. Johnny B. Bad.
Johnny B. Bad rules.
But I mean, the first time you saw that gimmick, you can't tell me you didn't cringe.
I was a kid.
Oh, you know what Brent says?
Mine was a racist. Then.
Brent says the revolution is televised, brother.
All right, Prince.
All right, that's your drop. Let me give you my drop. Let me read it here. My drop is a little bit of a drop and a pop. My drop goes to Ash by Elegance having to relinquish her title. I just did not like seeing that. That does not make it a bad thing necessarily. It wasn't a mistake. Nobody did anything wrong. It wasn't like something, but it is something that I hate about wrestling. It just is so unfortunate for any person that's worked hard, especially if they're from Cleveland, that has to give up a title like that. What an uncomfortable situation. How horrible is that for that poor woman? And whatever it is, super duper serious because nobody is saying what the actual issue is. Like,
See, Justin's been silenced already.
Justin got too close to the truth, and they shut him down.
I'll say that like he said, it has to be serious when they said that she can no longer participate in in-ring competition. So I think everyone rightfully assumes that it's some sort of dire health issue that she may or may not disclose at the time that she finds the most appropriate. And I think it sucks because she's definitely busted her ass. I think that her career has suffered ever since she was hot-shotted from NXT to the main roster. She needed more time, but then once she was on the main roster, it's like, well, okay, this person isn't up to the standards we need, but they're the ones who brought her up. So for her to work her way up and finally win a women's world championship, for it to end like this, it sucks, but at least she got to that point.
And also, with the frustration WWE, her ring work was always a little bit suspect on live TV, like we were talking about earlier with the other Botch. She was unreliable to deliver a match on TV, time constraints and this and that. But her character work was always really great. And she learned to excel doing that as a manager role. She still figured out how to contribute on the show. And then they still discarded her. They still didn't let her do the thing that she could have been good at. It was unfortunate. It's like, she worked and found a way to be successful, and they still.
It did make sense when they were making cuts, and I'm not being rude.
No, I think it made sense for her, and I'm happy. I'm just really happy that she did find her way, that she had a little bit of a moment in TNA, and I didn't think it was going to be long-lived anyway, but I think it was a good time for her to get that spot. And I think it was a good shine for her to kind of win it back for TNA, and then to just have to relinquish it right after that. Oh, just so brutal. I do understand that's part of why they picked Kalani to be the next person. That was who Ash said, like, can it be? And they ran it past everyone and they talked it through and they were like, you know what? It absolutely can be. We can totally work with this. And they redid some storylines and they made it all work very quickly. And to the benefit of Kalani Jordan, because she was starting to fade off of TV a little bit too. She didn't have anything right now. So it worked out well for her, and God bless Ash. I hope she's okay. That was the most awkward relinquishment speech I've ever heard. Like, she's never been that great on the mic to begin with. And that was like her coming out of character to do that certainly didn't help the awkwardness, but clearly people know what's going on and they're not saying, like, I listened to Tommy Dreamer on Busted Open and it sounds like he knows whatever it is. And he was even like, yeah, we're just going to HIPAA that and not talk about people's personal medical stuff. And I was just like, God dang, what, like, maybe it's gross curiosity and I don't necessarily even need to know, but at the same time, whatever it is, sounds like it's real and people get concussions or have other stuff going on. And it sounds like she was told, hey, I know you just won the belt, but you can't continue. And it was
how many times? So I was going to say, how many times it happens where someone just wins the belt? So you had like your Finn Balor, you've had the Cross, you've had Seth Rollins before, I think.
Yeah.
And then so many times now, especially, I just want to say now, it seems maybe it's just because of the
well, I mean,
it just seems that every time someone just finally gets the title or they win the title,
but you see what happens. What happens is because the chase, those programs that they have to be in to lead up to them are grueling. They're doing so many matches and they're on TV a bunch and they're pushing this person and they're trying to get this person over. And literally on your way to a belt is one of the toughest times of your whole career, especially if it's that first big win. And, you're like, if you go back and look at the stuff Finn was doing before that Universal Championship, he was putting it out there and it was working.
He hasn't returned. I mean, I was going to say he did put him back, I think, at least a year or two in the initial bit. But now, he's
to the point where he was one of the test cases for somebody going back down to NXT. And he went and rehabbed and worked out the kinks down at NXT again and then got back up to the main roster. Like, he was kind of the mold for that. So all these other guys like Baron Corbin and whatnot who went down, who thought it was a way back up, you're not Finn Balor, buddy. Sorry. Not everybody can go down and come back up. But anyway, that's my drop of the week. I wish Ash all the best. I wish Kalani all the best in representing TNA in her absence. I hope that ends up being a good choice. I do have to say I find it odd that the TNA women's team is really WWE heavy. I feel like the only real representation of TNA is the men's team. You got Kaz in there, TNA original. You got Moose, TNA original.
That's the shocking thing to me. TNA being able to have their own actual stars sort of main eventing or leading their group. I mean, with the invasion angle had Steve Austin leading WCW.
Right.
Which actually Kalani posted.
Yeah, that's the
Which actually also leads me, thank you for the segue. That is my drop, the women's TNA team. So the women's TNA team, captained by Kalani Jordan, and she chose Mara Sade and The Inspiration as her teammates. So you basically have the former Jakara Jackson, who got let go this year, jumping from NXT to TNA, but now representing TNA on an NXT show. And you have The Inspiration, formerly the Iconics, who were brought up on NXT, now in TNA, representing TNA on NXT. I would have preferred the team to consist of Jody Threat and the Elegance brand. I mean, it makes more sense to have your women's tag team champions as part of your team if you're going to have a women's tag team on there. And can't really do any other female homegrown talent since most are injured or cannot be spoken of at the moment.
Hey,
but yeah,
I'll tell you what though, I do like that they put Joe Hendry on blast. Like, dude, you got one foot in both ponds. Like him and Jordan, like y'all already planning main roster WWE shit. You're not our people.
Which I'm glad they addressed because that was kind of the elephant in the room when it came to making the decisions of who's on the team. But yeah, that's my drop.
And in that sense, it gives you the automatic storyline thing. Joe Hendry comes out to do, almost like not saying a Hogan leg drop moment, but like Joe Hendry comes out.
Joe Hendry should be seen as the last
he has to make the choice. He has to make the choice.
I think Cena should put over Joe Hendry for his last match on main event. I think that should be the end of Cena's career. Put over Joe. Clean.
You know it's going to be though, don't you?
10-minute match.
Honestly, Cena putting people over has not helped him. Cena putting people over has not helped them in the long run, and that's not by any fault of Cena's.
I don't disagree.
I do want to add
Austin Theory at WrestleMania. Look at Solo and Saudi. Nothing's really happened.
So
super duper true.
Austin.
What were you going to say there, Byron?
I do want to.
Hey, man, stay in the mix.